Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Sorry, I am late. This content is pertaining to Asa Ellerup, the wife of Rex Heuermann. She visited him in jail last week, and her attorney says that she will be attending his court proceedings. Does she believe he is innocent? Why does she need proof? She filed for divorce days after his arrest, first time visiting him in months, and now we get information that she's going to go to court because she wants to see the evidence. Does she have doubt? Is she going to go forward with the divorce proceedings? The link is in the chat if you want to join the queen after the commentary is played and after I read the said information. Thank you for joining me. You're now listening to the Vault Excel.
She's doing fine. She's holding up well. The expectations that she went and next on Wednesday at the Suffolk County facility, correctional facility in Riverhead, and spent about an hour with him. I did not get into discussing with her what the content of the conversation was. She hadn't seen him in person since the day before his arrest. So other than that, she's doing okay.
Okay, did she say anything about his appearance, or is he doing okay? Like, is he doing okay?
Yeah, she didn't. I didn't ask her. She didn't comment.
Okay, and I guess that is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, at this time, no further comment. He has an upcoming court date Wednesday. That's next.
That's the lawyer. Commentary kind of broke up. That's the lawyer for Miss Ellerup. And one would ask themselves, has she been going by that last name since being married to Mr. Rex Heuermann? If so, why not carry his last name? Or is she now only using her last name because she filed for divorce? When I get that information, I will let you know. The Daily Mail is the source. This is content from Friday. Pictures of her walking around with a tan color sweater, frumpy black pants and shoes. Asa has cut her hair. Still looks the same. Very frumpy looking. It's very interesting information. Let's get down to business, everybody. Asa Ellerup visited alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann in jail for the first time since he was arrested July 13th and spent an hour with him on Wednesday. Her attorney, Robert Macedonia, confirmed the visit with DailyMail.com and she would be attending her husband's trial to see if he's guilty of the crimes. She served divorce papers on her husband within 6 days of his arrest in July for the murder of 3 sex workers near their Long Island home. She will be attending court to see for herself if there is evidence that he committed the atrocities that he has been accused of. Asa Ellerup visited the Manhattan architect in jail for the first time since he was arrested July 13th and spent up to an hour with him on that Wednesday. She filed for divorce 6 days after Heuermann, 60, was charged with the murder of 3 sex workers whose bodies were found, who were among 11, on the desolate stretch of coastline close to their Long Island home between 2010 and 2011. Standing outside the family home in Massapequa Park on Friday, her attorney, Robert Macedonia, confirmed the visit with DailyMail.com and said she would be attending her husband's trial to see if he is guilty of the crime. She wants to hear and see how it is played out in court. Not what the media has put out, not what the podcast people are saying. I guess that would be the queen. Well, whatever, Asa. It's your life. It sure isn't mine. Certainly not what John Ray is saying. And as most of you know, John Ray is the attorney who's brought forth this mind-blowing account of an African-American female and detective who commingled with Rex Heuermann many years ago in a swingers situation and took along a lady who has now been identified as a deceased lady. So I guess you don't want to hear what Mr. John Ray has to say. And we will decide if Mr. John Ray's information is the truth, because as I always tell you, everything's a version. Once again, she wants to see and hear for herself what is presented in court. Macedonia added in reference to John Ray, who is a lawyer for the families of the two women found dead on the East New York Peninsula. And once again, you will see pictures of a Miss Asa Ellerup, frumpy looking still. She's cut her hair because her hair looks thicker. So she's cut her hair and it's still over the shoulders. It is what it is. Let's get down to business, everybody. The link is in the chat. Scroll up to the top of this page and hit the link if you want to join this live stream to give your public opinion pertaining to the said information. Asa. Why are you now deciding to visit your husband? I am curious, and I'm sure many citizens are curious. Why have you just now decided, ma'am, that you want to visit Rex? You served him with divorce papers a week after his arrest. So now I have to ask that question as well. Number one, are you continuing your divorce from Rex Heuermann? Number two, do you believe the allegations against your husband? Do you have doubt in your head that he did or did not commit these atrocious crimes? Do you have access to funds, Miss Asa? Do you have a bank account in your name, savings account in your name? Do you have a box with some change in it? I don't think so, because you slept outside on your porch while the FBI agents were rummaging through your things to get evidentiary material against your husband. And that told me everything I needed to know, that you have never been in charge of your marriage. You've had no say in your marriage. So one would wonder, why in God's name have you stayed in this marriage where you had no say so? I saw a picture of you in years where you looked halfway decent. You was at some function with your husband. He's standing in the background looking. And I'm trying to understand, who are you all? We believe that he's possibly a serial killer if we're to believe the evidence against him. And you were the wife of this man, still the wife of this man as far as we know. What is your role? Evidence says that he did this. Your hair was found on at least two of the victims. Now, one could say he transferred your hair from the house to the victims. That still would lead us to wonder, my goodness, does he never brush his shoulders off, his coat off? I'm just saying. And we know that hair can travel with you on a coat sleeve, a shoulder of a shirt, arm of a shirt. But two victims, my. That doesn't look good at all. I'm just saying. Awesome. Because if I'm to believe this lady who gave this account of being at your house, and I believe you were possibly pregnant because your lawyer just wore that out, that you were pregnant, you weren't home, blah, blah, blah. But now we have someone that puts you at the house when they were there, and they don't live there. They were traveling there to have hanky-panky sex with your husband, and their partner was going to have sex with him, her, them, those. I don't really know what they were doing. It doesn't sound good. Guess it depends on your interpretation of sexual liaisons. Because everybody gets down a different type of way, if you understand what I'm saying. The point is, if that lady can pinpoint anything in your house that none of us would know, just anything, you know, the way the arch is inside, where a door sits, where one way you could go in and go down a hall. If that woman could give us any inkling into that, that means she's been in your house, because so far nobody's described how your house is set up. If stairs go up, stairs go down. If you step down when you walk in, you step up when you walk in. And also, I don't think you or Rex want anybody to repeat that, because then that will bring clarification that people have been in your house. Yes, I believe she's loony. I believe there's something wrong with her. And we're not supposed to judge people, but that's what we do, because we're humans and we're flawed. People judge us, so we judge them. Tit for tat. It is what it is. Isn't that what you said? As you see, it is what it is. See, I found that comment strange. Your husband's been arrested for killing women, sex workers, and you give these one-line statements in response to the situation. It's strange. As you see, it is what it is. Well, what is it exactly? Because I had a sneaky suspicion months ago when the story was unfolding, because, wording is everything, that authorities believe these women died in your house. And let me tell you this, because your lawyer will not be able to maneuver you out of this situation. If they can prove that one woman was killed in your house, they're going to try to prove all of them were killed in your house. Checkmate. And then the next question is the obvious. Asa, where the hell were you while he was killing these women? I'll wait. That's where the hair comes from. See, I knew something was wrong when that got out about the DNA of you on the victims, your hair. First thing I said was 2 women? This don't sound good. What are they trying to tell us? Oh, they're trying to tell us that ding, 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 these women were in their house. So where was the wifey, pregnant or not? Irrelevant. The point is you were a resident and you were the wife of this man. Still the wife. Where were you? And we know that you didn't go any damn where because you couldn't even find a hotel to stay in when they were ransacking your house and breaking your house down. So I had to ask that question too. See, I stay woke. Awesome. I'm that podcaster you surely wouldn't like because I'm going to bring people the obvious. For those who can't think beyond the box, outside of the box, around the box, well, I'm that podcaster that will take them outside of the box. Where in the hell were you while he's bringing these women home? Because I believe there was more than one. And if I am to believe that he killed those other victims, pay attention, everybody. They have, let me put this delicately. They were dismembered, Asa. I think you better pay attention because, see, getting a fancy lawyer to speak for you, it means nothing to me, and it means nothing to the victims' families, and it means nothing to anybody that is woke and paying attention to the storyline. They were dismembered, ma'am. So that means the killer, if indeed it is your husband who's killed those women and a guy, cross-dresser, Asian male, then he needed some space to commit the crime. And naturally, people don't hack up people outside. They need a quiet place, desolate place to dismember a body. Does anywhere come to mind, Asa, Ellerup? Your house, garage? I got a feeling you know way more than what authorities are alluding. They say they don't believe you have any knowledge of these dead women. I don't know if I believe that because what I have to tell myself, if I believe this lady who's been to your house, who was swinging with your husband on this fateful night when Miss Vergara was there and they took her there, then you would have recognized her face when it went on the news as a missing person and then identified as the body found in Gilgo Beach. You want me to believe you never recognized that lady's face as a missing person. And then number 2, when it was identified, you didn't say, damn, that girl was in my house running around naked, playing funny games with my husband. Is that what you want me to believe, ma'am? Because we have heard, and it's not a lot of serial killer stories where he has a female partner, female co-conspirator. But we have heard a few stories, one out of Canada, of a young guy using the girlfriend to lure women for him to rape, assault, blah, blah, blah. So what if we have a tag team situation here? Because I believe there are also other people involved with Mr. Rex and some of these victims. I won't doubt that this was an underground group. Because a lot of people don't want to tie in one victim to the other victims. One victim got lost in the marsh, drowned. But that's the weird part of the story. Now pay attention. What are the odds that victim one runs into the marsh on an audio call with 911 saying that you all are going to hurt me, kill me, whatever, and then she pops up dead, and while they're looking for her or whomever, they find these other bodies. But yet, victim one's an accident. Ask yourself, as a sane human being with a brain, how peculiar that is. I'll just let you all sit and marinate on that for just a second. And also, you have had to ask yourself the same thing if you've been paying attention to the information and the documentaries that have been made about the Long Island killer, because that's what he was called originally before we got his name as a suspect. What are the odds that someone goes missing, a female sex worker goes missing, and in search of her, authorities find other dead people, but yet her death is an accident? Okay. Maybe somebody can help me understand, because I'm confused. Why would I think victim one is an accident and she's found with other dead people? You have to ask yourself the odds of her running to safety in an area where there are dead people. Just help me out. She ran, tangled up, drowned. Search party ensues, and voila. We have an assortment of dead people. And then Ocean Parkway, which I'm assuming is in the general area, more dead people. More women and one man and a baby. And the baby is linked to one of the sex workers as well, one of the women. Can anybody help me understand? Women wrapped in burlap, which means same killer. The other set of women dismembered, body parts. And that has to be way gruesome. Finding an arm and a leg and a foot and a head. And Asa Rex, somehow you all think that nobody's going to assume in this general demographic you didn't do this. And it's not to say that somebody wasn't listening to the news and said, oh, they found 3 women and they believe, Joe Blow did it, whoever Joe Blow was at that time. And then they decided to kill some women and dump them out there too. So are we working with 1 killer or 2 or 3? How many are we working with? Yes, it's very creepy. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what these women were doing. That was their choice. They're grown. But nobody had the right to take their life because they are sex workers. You frequent them for a reason, whether it be Rex Heuermann or somebody else, this detective, blah, blah, blah. You don't have the right to kill them. And I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of people knew about these swinging parties. A lot of these people were involved. And I also believe homosexuality. I believe it is way deeper than what we are hearing. Because the 911 call tells me other people were around when the girl went running for her life. The other night, I was drifting off into my slumber and listening to the Asian guy speaking, who was the driver. I don't really care for his commentary. Something about him is off to me. Maybe one day I'll play that. Maybe later tonight, I'll come back live and play that. Something's off with him as well. The stuttering, the acting like he can't grasp his words. You don't remember that night well? I think I would remember it like it was yesterday if I was with somebody and they later showed up dead. Because usually traumatic events, you kind of remember a little bit better than you would other things. I'm just saying. Oh, she was running and I was telling her, stop, stop, and all this. And then she disappeared. I didn't see her. See, all that don't make any sense to me. That's what I've asked myself. When the girl's running with the phone and talking, telling these people she was afraid of them, telling them she thought they was going to kill her, where were you sitting in the car in the proximity of that phone conversation? I'm curious. See, there's a lot to this story that, as I said, I believe it has more key players than Rex Heuermann. And that's the scarier part of the story. Not just that this big, great thing was walking the earth and stalking women and behaving inappropriate with women, hunting women, killing women, discarding their bodies off an open freeway. It's the fact that he could have had help and had other participants that played these dirty games. And I kind of believe that it was a combination of swinging parties / hunting games. If you've ever seen a movie where a person is taken out, usually a woman, out in the middle of nowhere, such as the woods, the forest, and she is told to run for her life. And the premise is that she's running to her death. That the assailant has a rifle gun and he's hunting her. And he's telling her to run and hide and hope you can hide from me out here in the middle of nowhere and I don't kill you. But the object of the game is for him to hunt her and then murder her. Why do I have this sneaky suspicion that's what this was going on with this man? The fact that he had damn near 300 guns. Why? Now, there's nothing wrong with being a collector of knives, guns, bow and arrows, records, shoes, clothes, whatever you're into. But there comes a point when you have to ask yourself the obvious. What can you do with 300 pairs of shoes? What can you do with 300 guns? I think you see where I'm going with this. You see, with shoes, you have 2 feet, meaning you could only wear 1 pair at a time. Guns, 2 hands, but 9 times out of 10, you're only going to shoot 1 gun at a time. Now, that's not to say you can't carry a couple of guns with you on one of your little hunting trips. And what we have to decide is, what is exactly that you're hunting? An animal or a human? And from what it seems, Rex wasn't hunting animals, because I've yet to hear that he was hunting animals, had souvenirs, participated in taxidermy. He liked hunting women. And we get that information also from the taxi driver who believes he is the guy she encountered at that hotel one night. I believe there's way more to Rex Heuermann and Asa Ellerup. I believe she has knowledge of his misgivings, his misdeeds with women, sex workers, swingers, and possibly murdering the sex workers. I got a feeling he's probably displayed some very vile behavior with his wife, because it's very hard to hide a violent disposition. You may go to your job speaking to everybody in the office. Good morning, how are you? Would you like a donut, a cup of coffee? But eventually that other side is going to seep out. I brought you commentary the other day of the girl that fell at work and he helped her to the hospital in her apartment. Well, let's just say for her, she's very lucky to be alive. And she wasn't somebody he decided to choose because he knows the parameters. It's supposed to be that old saying, you don't shit where you eat. So let's just say he didn't shit where he worked, but he possibly shit where he stayed, which was out there on that island. And we got information. He's a big head, a narcissist, likes to be in charge, likes to be seen, towering over everybody like the Inferno, saying odd things to people on public transit, what they should and shouldn't be doing, which is very dangerous. Whether you're 6'6", 6'4", doesn't matter. And now we have information of him threatening a neighbor to slash their tires because they were parked on the sidewalk. Their child's car was parked on the sidewalk, which is so ever. The point is, he used his size to be threatening, to be a bully. And he's possibly been a bully most of his life. Adult life. Probably started in grade school, teenager. Just a big old bully. I'm sure many of you watched the YouTube video where he was talking to the guy. The guy was interviewing him and he was laughing and talking. And I believe this commentary was about hunting as well. And he made sure to pause before saying what it is he chose to hunt, if you get my drift. So this takes me back in my mind of what I'm saying to you now, that he was a hunter. Because whenever you have decided to kill people for a living, that is what you're doing. You're hunting people. He's a hunter of human flesh. And a particular type of human, sex workers. They're devoid of anything important, substance, value. Nobody wants them. Nobody cares about them. That's the myth to some. But the point is, they're still children of God and they do matter. Maybe not to you, but maybe they matter to somebody else. And nobody has the right to snuff you out because you're a prostitute or an escort. Because if that's the case, we could say the same about Human. Somebody should have snuffed his big ass out. Because how are you better than she when you're partaking in sex with a sex worker? You are no different. And there's another thing that nobody has touched on about this subject matter, which people probably don't even care to think about it, is everybody sleeping with everybody. Who's using a damn condom? So what we should be asking Asa, have you ever came up with a venereal disease? I'll wait. Oh yeah, I'm going to go in the belly of the beast. Because I don't know if you participated in sex with your husband, continued to have sex with him up until he got arrested. But if he was swinging with men and women, because I don't know if it was just women on men or men on men, but somebody probably didn't use something such as an umbrella. And we know that many men who partake in sexual activity, period, do not use condoms. Didn't use them then and don't use them now. And yes, there are men who still, and women, don't use condoms today. Their choice. So also, I'm going to ask you, did you ever participate in any of the swinging escapades at your house or any other location? Did you ever participate in any menage a trois with women, whether they be a swinger and or a prostitute, escort, or the lady at the convenience store? I'm curious. Are you bisexual, Asa Ellerup? Because you're a very plain looking lady. And even in the picture where you look halfway decent, you still look plain. Because as I say, and this is an old saying I have for people who are not that attractive, you are no morning star. That's my opinion. And I got a feeling there's way more to the fact of how Rex met you and married you. I believe there's some shenanigans there. Because I'd like to know how you got here to the United States. How did you meet Rex Heuermann? The circumstances for you two getting together. Where did you two meet? Because I don't think it's traditional. That's just the feeling I get. I could be wrong. Will this woman stand by Rex Heuermann? Because it looks like that's where we're going. She has visited him in the jail for the first time since July, which is very strange. She obviously didn't have no access to money, funds. She begged and pleaded and hollered about getting those guns returned so she could sell them, which is very strange to me, because if you're married to someone, you should have access to funds, money. What is so special about you getting a hold of those guns to sell? Because that leads me to believe she had no money. That's why she was sleeping outside on the front porch with her children when the FBI was raiding her house. Why do you not have access to money, ma'am? Do you still not have access to bank accounts, funds, savings, offshore accounts, properties? If so, why not? And is that the reason why she visited him in jail? So she could get her name on documents to go into accounts and liquidate so she can do something with herself and these two grown children. And I find it strange, an adult daughter still living at home with the mother who's taking care of a disabled son. Why? That's a responsibility in itself. Why are you also there? You know what I'm seeing with these people? The blind leading the blind. Rex just found some any old body to marry. She found some any old body to marry. She already had a son, I believe, when they met. They make this girl child, enabling her, taking care of a disabled son. Everybody is codependent in the story. And despite everybody being codependent on the other, we then have a serial killer in the mix of the codependency. Checkmate. Because if you look at the story, it's off. You got this frumpy ass guy that's an alleged architect who's out here slaughtering women for a hobby. The wife is ho-hum frumpy with two grown-ass kids living with her in a rundown-ass house that they want to try to blame the FBI for tearing up when we hear it was already packed up to the gills when they went into the damn house. And then every day after that, she's seen by every news agent from here to the UK, yet she's never decently dressed. No makeup, no lip gloss, no blush, no nothing. Why? Who the hell sleeps outside their house when their house is being raided? For what? Where is the family? Let's talk about that. Where is the support for these people? The kids, the mother, Rex Heuermann. Where is the support? Does she have contact with his brother that lives down here in the South? Do they talk? Do they speak? Is he also talking and speaking to Rex? Do they have living parents? If so, are they talking to Rex, calling? Who's putting commissary on the books? Because Asa doesn't seem to have a damn thing. So who's putting commissary on the books? Is he getting commissary? People writing him letters? Crazy wackos? Anybody confessing their sins and crimes to Rex Heuermann? Is his mail being read, documented by the FBI authorities? I'm sure it is. Phone calls? I'm sure they are. Who is the support system for Rex Heuermann? And Asa, I got a problem with you right now because I got a funky suspicion. You either have something up your sleeve or you are still in tune with this beast. And you are up his ass and wanting to still support him, knowing he's killed these people, and you want to go to court to see what exactly. Oh, I don't want to hear what the podcasters say. I don't want to hear what the media has to say. I want to go in and see it myself. So this is what I want to know. Since you don't believe nothing going on out here in La La Land, did you ever think to call a detective to say, I'd like to talk to you about the case against my husband? I'd like to know the evidence you have against him. Reiterate what you have against my husband. And what you should be asking yourself, what the fuck your hair is doing on two of the dead women? You don't think to ask that, do you? Because you know that can tie you into the dead girls. And it ain't a good look. Oh, it was on his sleeve, it was on his sweater, it was on his shirt. And while he's manhandling these women and choking them and all of this and cutting them up, oh, my hair got on the women. Kind of like Lori Valladabelle, her hair is on the little boy. I'll wait. And yes, hair can be transferred. I think we all have gone places and hair has fallen in our food from the cook, the waitress. We brushed up against somebody. We sat in their car. We sat on their sofa. We now have their hair fibers on our sweater, our shirt, our jeans, our socks. Yes, indeed, you can get transferable fibers from anywhere. But honey, everyday transference, going in strange places, public places, is definitely not the same as your fucking hair on two dead women. You can't logically explain it. That's what you need to understand when you sit up here and say, I don't want to hear what the media has to say. I don't want to hear what the podcasters have to say. You need to wake the fuck up. Because what the fuck is your hair doing on two dead women? You don't think to ask somebody about that? Because you know you can't logically explain your hair on two dead women. That means your husband was with them and or you were with them and Rex. Checkmate. That's why you got this fucking lawyer. Because all that wording and rewording that possibly they've been to the house, the victims, you knew where this was going. A 5-year-old could tell a person where the story was going. Nobody would just come out and say it directly. Hey, the ladies have been to the house. Hey, the wife could have been there as a witness, a participant. Nobody would say it. So everybody's talking in circles. Now you got you a fucking lawyer. What you should be worried about is preserving your damn self. Because if they can link your dumb ass to these crimes, who the hell's going to take care of your disabled son? You better wake up, lady. Just like you don't want to believe the police, you don't want to believe what the podcasters have to say, well, I don't have to believe what the fuck you're saying. Because I've yet to hear you say through your lawyer, I don't know anything about these women. I don't know anything about the other dead people on Ocean Parkway. I had nothing to do with these dead women. I can only assume if my husband did this, the hair was transferred from me to him to them. How about saying that? Instead of worrying about some fucking guns. You're worried about selling some guns because you ain't got no money. But you have yet to explain your hair on them dead girls. When are you going to explain that? Hello, everybody in the chat. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion. This is your opportunity to voice your opinion pertaining to Rex Heuermann and Asa Ellerup. Because there's something funky and off with this story. This newfound change of her wanting to visit her husband. What did they discuss? You hear the lawyer vaguely speaking in this commentary I played for you. Please go back to the beginning of this live. It's very faint. Daily Mail is the source if you need to go hear it for yourself. He's basically saying she's fine. He doesn't know what they talked about when she went to the jail last week. Asa is up to something. She's either trying to get snoozied up, cozied up so she can get a hold of the accounts and money and get him to sign the divorce papers, or she is having second thoughts and thinking, I better support him because they might be able to link me with my husband. So I'm going to say this to you, Asa, Ellerup. You better hope don't nobody put you with them dead folks. Because one black lady has done that already. Because one of the victims that they took to the house, she's dead now. And she was running around playing reindeer games with her husband, peeping out the window, asking the detective, hey, is she coming with us? Oh, no, they're just playing a game. Sounds kind of like that game of the so-called victim that ended up in the marsh. That's unrelated. Catch me if you can. See me run. Is that what we're talking about here? Hunting game. Did Rex Heuermann play hunting games with the victims? See how far you can get before I crack your neck, bust your skull open, choke you to death, wrap you in burlap, take you to the marsh. Checkmate. See how far you can run before I snap your neck, choke you to death, beat you to death, and dismember you. Carry you out, take you to the marsh, take you to Ocean Parkway. Checkmate. How many victims are we talking total by the hands of Rex Heuermann? Who else played these funny games with Rex Heuermann? Do we have more people involved in the murders of these women? Co-conspirators aided in the deaths of these women have knowledge that Rex Heuermann killed these women and they are holding the secret. I believe so. And I got a sneaky suspicion Asa is one of them. Because the hair on the bodies is troublesome to me. Because if a man leaves a house or anybody with clean clothes on, goes out to the job, work 8 hours, calls a sex worker, they meet up in the evening, night, go do their business. His wife's hair is on his clothes. Time one. He meets another sex worker. Same MO. Puts on clean clothes. Goes out. Stays gone all day. Meets the sex worker. And now his wife's hair is on this clothes number 2. And I'm not saying it's not possible because we know that it is. It's just still strange to me because she and I believe this lawyer are trying to downplay her role as if she was never around. But we know that makes no sense because she lived in the house with Rex Heuermann allegedly. And if your hair is on these victims, you were in the proximity of Mr. Heuermann for the hair to be transferred. And of course, we know you could have separated and your hair is still in the house, in the car, on the bed, on the linens, on the blanket. But it's still bothersome to me. Gold Runner says there's a lot of people involved in this thing. It's been going on for far too long, and it could have been cleared up decades ago. Why? Because the importance of the very people involved. Yes, I believe law enforcement has been involved from day one. You had the shady sheriff who has been truly, truly despicable, done some prison time, comes out to only be canoodling in a park soliciting a damn man months ago. Now the new commissioner, the African-American man, he's resigned to say he wants to spend time with his family. I started to think, hope he's not involved with people who were involved with this, and that's why he's resigning. because maybe he's hearing some things of people he know of, and he doesn't want to have to be the person still on the force or involved some way. I don't know. Something is just strange to me. All of this wrangling on and on and on. Did this ex-commissioner have some associates that were involved with Rex Heuermann? Because I think some names are going to start to drop eventually in this storyline. And I think there are a lot of people who are scared if they are still law enforcement and or not law enforcement, retired. You don't want your name wrapped up in this mess with Rex Heuermann. Because I believe they were having sex parties out there on that island at different people's houses, not just Rex Heuermann. Let me make that clear. I believe sex parties were going on with Rex and other people at different houses, and a lot of people were involved in the sex parties. And I do believe the sex parties were also hunting parties, perhaps. Who's to say? We'll never know, because somebody's going to have to tell the truth. And if somebody tells the truth, then they would have to implicate themselves. And we've learned with true crime, there's always people who know the truth. They just don't tell. But this lady, Asa, is probably scared. She's never been independent. She's lived off this man in this ho-hum life, this ho-hum shack. You don't hear of anybody talking positively about these people. Don't you find that strange? Don't talk about her. Don't say anything. That's my friend. That's my sister. That's my aunt. That's my coworker. I tell you all, stay woke. Nobody has come forward to even speak up for this Asa character. She's a great lady. I can't see her knowing about a murder. I can't see her swinging. I've never heard those things. Not one person. Living in this rundown fucking barn on an island with $500,000 houses, $1 million houses, and they're the only ones living in a barn. Have you seen the videos of the houses in the neighborhood? I think you might need to take a little tour. Because their house is the one house that looks off-putting in the midst of decent-looking houses. Why is that? You know, that old saying, well, lead by example. People see you doing nice. They see you looking good. They see you keeping the lawn up. That gives them the, gumption to say, hey, I need to keep my grass cut. Hey, I need to plant me some flowers. Hey, I need to clean my yard. Not with this group. But yet he's an architect. And it's not to say that people who don't have sufficient income and decent careers aren't hoarders, pack rats, because many people are. That's my guilty obsession. Hoarders. I watch the show just about every day. I watch shows about decluttering just to keep myself in line so I don't become one, because I don't want to be one. I'll live like the little old guy with the tray table and recliner before I become a hoarder. Yes, indeed. But it's scary to say these people are possibly a part of this macabre life of murdering people, hunting people, and then they're living in some shack in the middle of $1 million houses. What the fuck? And she doesn't look in the looking glass and say to herself, damn, I'm not doing good. I ain't looking good. I ain't sounding good. I ain't smelling good. I need to get my shit together. See, the news and the media can really give you a play-by-play of how you've been living. You may not like it, but go watch yourself on the news and check yourself and say, damn, I look bad. Damn, my house looks bad. Damn, I need to lose some weight. I think we all have done it. We may not have been a news story, but we've looked at pictures of ourselves on social media, bad selfies. Woo, my stomach is huge. I need to work out, quit eating, quit drinking, quit snacking. You see where I'm going? I think Also, you need to take a good look at yourself, because that looking glass should be about shattered right about now. You should not even want it, the playback of your life, to be on the Eyewitness News. And if you've had no involvement in the murders of these women, then so be it. But your house and how you have carried yourself in the public, that's an entirely different situation. That has nothing to do with the murders of the women. That has nothing to do with the accusations against Mr. Rex Heuermann, because you are your own separate entity. You are supposed to be the captain of your ship, and you are not. And that helps tell the story of this macabre situation. We have this rundown house on an island full of pretty homes. We have a man who allegedly had a lucrative career, been accused of stalking and hunting women and killing women. And then he comes back to this little ho-hum house on an island that's a barn and a shack that's hoarded to the rafters, with a ho-hum life and a ho-hum wife. Why? No beauty queen, no stunning beauty. Even if you're unattractive by the eyes of others, you can at least put on some decent clothes. You can at least put on a nice dress, summer dress. Nobody set up a GoFundMe page for you and your children. Nobody offered clothes. So everybody was just baking cookies and bringing you sandwiches while the FBI was raiding your house. Nobody said, hey, I'll take you to the mall, get you a nice dress or two. It was summertime. Middle of summer at that. And nobody said, honey, you need to comb your hair. Honey, you need to get a haircut. Honey, you need to put on some mascara, blush. Do something. You look bad on TV. Because you played it up, did you not? The walking around disoriented looking, pale face, freckles, no makeup, no decent clothes, frumpy clothes. Woe is me. Because possibly that's how you actually have been living with Rex Heuermann. You have been in the background since the day you married him. You never had a voice. You never felt valued. You never felt worthy. And what we saw after the arrest of your husband and the allegations brought against him showed us the life that you possibly never wanted to be put on blast in front of the world. That you were never a valued partner. Rex Heuermann has been living this separate life, doing what he wants, as he wants, saying anything, doing anything, come see, come saw. And you and those kids have just been fading in the background for many years. And that's what you told the world by walking outside in frumpy sweaters and frumpy pants and old tennis shoes and not combing your hair and not putting on makeup, not putting on mascara. You told the world, I gives two fucks about myself because I ain't been caring about myself before you arrested my husband. This is who I've always been. And that's sad to me. And now many would say, now, Angela, that's not fair. They raided her house. How's she supposed to look? She's frazzled. She's upset. She's scared. She doesn't know what to do. Well, let me tell you something. When you have been thrust into adversity, you've got to tighten your shit. You've got to tighten your shit. She should have reached out to somebody and say, hey, I need some help. I don't know what to do. I would have never slept outside my fucking front porch or back porch while the FBI are running through my house. I would have asked them to be able to give me at least my purse and my credentials, which is my driver's license, and the key to the front damn door. And then I would have found a way to go stay in a hotel until further notice. And then, yes, I guess I would have consulted with an attorney to seek about legal situations with the husband. And I definitely would have marched my ass down in that jail and talked to Rex Heuermann. What the fuck is going on here? Why are these agents in my house? State police, local police, why are these people here? I would have gotten an answer out of Rex Heuermann. And that would have been the day when I stood up with my big girl panties on and gave Rex Heuermann something to think about. He is no longer running the show. You see, you gave us everything we needed to know without even talking to the news and to the press. You let us know Rex has been running the show from day one. And you have just been stupidly going along like a sad puppy dog. But you're going to let this motherfucker take you down into the abyss if you don't tighten your shit and get it together. Because you better pray and hope nobody can loop you in to these dead girls. So you can let your lawyer set up all he wants with this fancy ass talk. And, oh, I don't know what they talked about. Oh, she's okay. She's fine. He can't do nothing for you if they loop your ass into these dead people. Go Runner says she bowed out too quick for this to make sense. Now back like nothing happened. Exactly. You want to go to court to hear the evidence? Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to judge you on that end. I'm going to stay out of that one. You want to see what the state has against your husband? You have every right to hear the evidence. So I'm going to nod my head. You said you want to go to court? You go to court. You listen to what they have to say, the witnesses. You just better hope nobody pops up saying anything about you. And that's where I feel like you are naive. Because you think the state is not going to call that black lady in to testify, and they're going to subpoena that damn detective lady. You better wake the fuck up. He can sit on the witness stand and say, I refuse to speak because of my rights, blah, blah, blah. That don't mean the black lady's going to do that. They show your picture in court. Is this the lady who you saw sitting in the house that was pregnant, ma'am? Yeah, that's her. This is also Ellerup, the wife of Rex Heuermann. Yes, that's her. And she was there when you came in with the victim that's now been found dead. Yes, that's her. So she knew that you all were there to have swinging parties and have sex with each other. Yes, she knew. Wow. So you want to go to court and wait for that to happen. You want to sit in court and wait to see who else is going to pop up and say, oh, yeah, we've been going to that house having sex with Rex Heuermann and other women and men. And then what if you get somebody that pops up in court talking about, oh, yeah, he's gay. He like men, too. Because Ocean Park has a dead man who's Asian dressed like a woman. So are we now saying that your husband's bisexual? Stay woke, everybody. Are we going to hear that? Your husband likes men, frequent men, cross-dressing men, and that's going to go back to you. Do you like women? Have you slept with women? Hell, are you even gay? I don't know. So this is what you're waiting for to go to court. Because if you got information out here in La La Land about swinging parties at your house, they can tie your husband into ads about swinging parties. Did it not occur to you that somebody will testify to say they have had sex with you, ma'am? This is what you want to go to court and listen to. So you think you're just going to hear evidence about Rex Heuermann and the victims? Phone calls, personal ads, meeting with the women, him contacting the dead people's families, leaving derogatory messages to the dead people's families. And you think in the midst of all of that information, nothing's going to come out in court about you and your knowledge of the swinging parties, the knowledge that your husband 9 times out of 10 is possibly bisexual, preferring men, dressing up as women, frequenting prostitutes, escorts, people coming back to your house to have sex with both of you interchangeably, whether you were pregnant or not, and possibly you having involvement and knowledge of him killing these women at your house. Because if that girl was in distress the day that she and the detective were there and they left her there, people are going to say, well, where the fuck was Asa at while the girl's running around the house screaming? And this is her house. And they're sitting in the driveway looking at the girl, look out the window in distress, needing help. What are you going to say to that? Because that's what's so funny about this whole fucking story. You have yet to address that woman's allegation of being in your house, having sex with your husband, her boyfriend detective having sex with your husband or other people, whatever the hell was going on, and you're standing around saying, nah, I don't want to sleep with her, maybe because you don't like black women. I don't know what the hell type of shit y'all had going on. You ain't addressed that at all. And your lawyer has not addressed it. Why not? You see, you should have cleared that up. You should have cleared that up when that came out weeks ago. When the lady said she's been to that house with a detective, you should have said, I've never met that lady before. She's never been in my house. She must be mistaken. She's never been here having sex with my husband or me or any other girl. And there was no girl running around this house staring through the window. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'll say, Ellerup. So when are you going to address that allegation? Are you ever going to address your hair on the dead women's bodies? And as I said before, if somebody else decides to pop up out of the cake saying they've been in your house having sex with you and Rex, what is your response going to be? If they can describe the inside of your house and have allegedly never been there, how are you going to respond to that allegation? You see, I think you're living in La La Land and you think some fancy lawyer with his hair slicked back representing you for clout is going to help you. There's certain things a lawyer can't do for you. And that's master truth. Lawyers can't master truth. They can tell you not to speak. They can tell the public, the media, authorities, I have no comment. She has no comment. But it doesn't mean that it's not the truth. Gold Runner says they're living like hillbillies in that shed. It can hardly be called a house. That guy resigned because he saw that was going on. I don't blame him. What was going on, Gold Runner? Do you want to come up here and give your commentary? He resigned because of what's going on. Break it down for me. I can only see you resigning if there's some improprieties of people that you know are involved and you can't be biased. I mean, you can't navigate in a professional manner. That's what I'm trying to say. Somebody can link you to having knowledge about something. I don't know. It all just seems strange to me. Yes, and nobody was allowed in that shed. What do you mean? What do you mean nobody was allowed in the shed? Make this live count. Make it go viral, everybody. Hit the link. Give your public opinion. I rarely drop the link, but on occasion, on certain topics, I like to hear a person's opinion besides me going on and on during a live stream. Give me your opinion about what her role is, what she knows and does not know. Do you believe she knows about the deaths of some of these women or all of them? Please take the polls on my community page, and I will read you a poll that I put up before going live. Thank you for joining me. $12:04 in the high 10. Very early here. Decided to get you this content out where there's not too many disruptions in the background. Okay, let's see. Is also continuing divorce proceedings against Rex. 80% of you said yes. 14% of you said no. Rex Heuermann's wife, sorry, I misspelled that. Asa Ellerup visited him in jail for the first time last week and wants to attend court hearings to see evidence for herself. Do you think she believes her husband is innocent? 20% of you believe that's why that she went to the jail. 60% of you said no. 20% of you said not sure. So 20% of you believe that she thinks he's innocent, perhaps. I don't know. Very strange. And a very peculiar case out of Georgia has just unfolded. A baby Jane Doe has been identified, and her mother and the guy who she dated at the time, back in 88, they have been arrested down in Georgia. They are from Albany, Georgia. A little girl was found discarded in the woods in cement and a casing and a dresser, something to that effect. And now that child has been identified, and the mother and the boyfriend, the then boyfriend, have been arrested. How was the supposed authorities allow that eyesore shed to stand in that area? Go Runner, hit the link, sweetheart, because I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about, the shed. What are you talking about? Hit the link. Hit the link. Be heard. When I pull up her name in the search of YouTube, they pull up this content from 3 months ago showing the house. It looks a damn mess. A damn mess. The ogre and his hair. Yeah, he has a mean looking haircut. He just got his hair cut. It's hideous looking. All the sides shaved off. He has very strong features for a man. I call him a pit bull. He has the face of a dog. Like all this stuff, when you look at this picture from 3 months ago of the house, it's packed to the gills. You can't blame the FBI for any of that. That stuff you already had in your house packed up. They didn't go pull stuff out and then pack them in boxes. That stuff you already had in your house. You had boxes packed up high. I don't see how they were able to search a house that was packed like that. Pack rats, hoarders. There's boxes up to the ceiling. There's no way you can say the FBI planted that stuff in your house. They made a mess of your house. Your house is already a mess. Naturally, it's going to be worse because they're having to pull the stuff out, pull it down to the ground, and go through the items. But the house is packed. I want to reshare this picture to my community board for you so you can see. It's ridiculous. Well, she gave up her humanity. She probably did. Because her appearance, after his arrest told me a lot. As I said, this would be a harrowing time for anybody hearing, that their husband has been arrested for murdering women and no bond. But in the end, you coming outside to the public, whether it was to go on the porch or go to your mailbox, it's still showing who you are. And day for day, it doesn't add up. It shows me this is how you've been living. This is how you've been carrying yourself when there was no arrest of Rex Heuermann, when there was no FBI raid. This is how you've been living. This is how you carry yourself. This is how you look. And this was your house. Your house was hoarded up before anyone ever entered that domain. And that's my public opinion. I'm going to end this live stream because I was hoping somebody would like to come up to give their public opinion pertaining to this storyline, but so far, no takers. So I'm going to end this live while it's early. But this is my commentary for this afternoon. Miss Asa Ellerup has visited Rex Heuermann in jail a week ago, last Wednesday. She met with him for about an hour. Her attorney says she has not discussed with him what was said between she and the husband. And she is also going to be attending his court proceedings to see the evidence for herself. And what I pose to you is, do you believe she believes her husband is innocent? That maybe she's had a change of heart, or maybe she never had a change of heart, because she did file for divorce, which will lead people to think she possibly thought that he did do it. But now she's decided to see him in jail, which is very strange to me. August, September, October, November. It's been 4 months since he's been arrested. Damn near to the date, because yesterday would have made 4 months exactly. Why are you just now visiting your husband, number one, in jail? Why are you now saying you want to go to court to hear the proceedings? Does she have access to funds, money? Is she going to stay in that house? Does she have a support system? Is there anybody there helping to get the house in order, intact? Because you got to remember, they tore up the tub, all of that. That costs money to put another tub in, plumbing, so on and so forth. Is the house even in working condition? What is going to be the fallout of this lady, her children, her marriage? Is she going to stay married to him? Did she go to this jail to try to rectify the finances, to get in control of the finances, the estate of their personal effects? Does she have a buyer for the guns? Who's helping her sell the guns? See, all these things are telltale signs she had no control of the marriage, that she was just riding the ride. That's my commentary. You all have a wonderful afternoon. I'll be back with more stimulating content and commentary. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Thank you.